I'm still an addict. I was able to quit, and it did take a lot. It did take a lot of thinking, a lot of self-reflection, and a lot of, family to sit with me and ask me the important questions on what you want to do with your life. And I knew drugs wasn't a part of that. Let's get another record. Getting the work in, as I like to do. Well, doing it outside. Fresh air. Get off your phones and get outside. Today, I want to talk about addiction and how powerful addiction can be to the person that is, or the person that has been gripped by the, should I say, the demise and the disease. I have been addicted to drugs probably since the age of 14. Honestly, we could easily say I'm still addicted. I think about drugs and alcohol more than I think about other stuff progressing. It's easy for it to happen, and I think the best thing to do is, honestly, is to quit. If you are gripped by addiction, to quit. I mean, I think I smoked my first joint at 14 years old, 15 years old, and it was just a continuous cycle from there. I mean, I did take a little break just from being scared of the drug, but once I came back on the drug, and I've never really had a problem with, like, class A's drugs. It's mostly just been weed, and at first it was recreational, but it did turn into being something I needed, every day. And not even just every day. I didn't just need a smoke, I needed 2, I needed 3, I needed 4. Being addicted, it doesn't just stem from wanting to be high. It stems from needing to get away from your life, dealing with mental battles in your head. It deals with it could come from trauma, and pain, and those are stronger than drugs at first, and the drugs is how people end up numbing them, right? This calisthenics stuff is not new to me at all. I was forced to start doing calisthenics in December 2024. I was forced to start doing calisthenics, and I adapted. I mean, I had somewhere to do pull-ups. I looked online. If you can't get a gym membership, get outside, do it in your room. Use the internet to your advantage. I got this book as a birthday gift to myself. Mike Malak, The Fifth Vital. Now, I knew Mike Malak for a long time. I knew he was an addict. And I knew he wrote this book. I've known about this book for a very long time. But I didn't see the appeal to getting it until 2023. And I'm sure it was published in 2022. for 2021. So it shows. I just wanted to run through some of the stuff Mike talks about in his book. And he talks about addiction, and not that addiction isn't just you're addicted, but most likely the people you're hanging around with, your friends, your family members, are probably addicts as well. And you'll never be able to quit unless you disassociate yourself from them, or disassociate your mind from that way of life. If you don't, take a step back. There we go. Me and Mike, we actually have a very similar life. I know it might sound crazy. He's this fucking millionaire living in wherever he wants, doing whatever he wants, making videos, but hey, it sounds like I'm very close to being him then. But this book really tells you how addiction can grip you, and how it's really an endless cycle of despair, anguish, shame, guilt, and self-inflicted pain, not only on you but on your family members and your friends. It really dives deep, and I can feel that from my own personal experience. I'm being addicted to drugs. I'm being addicted to so many other things, right? But honestly, the best thing you can do is quit. Quit while you're ahead. Find the help you need. Go to whoever you need to go to quit and become the best version of yourself. You like the lives. You like the fun life. The life that you go around and you do whatever you want, say whatever you want, not think about anyone else but yourself. And I felt that when I was on drugs, when I was addicted to drinking and smoking and taking other drugs, I wasn't me. I was a shell of what I could be, and I feel like that's what we are when we're, addicted to drugs, addicted to, what's the word? Addicted to dopamine. We need this kind of dopamine, the pull-ups, the push-ups, the walking, the fresh air, the good food. That's what we really need. And yeah, going back into your friends and family also being like people that will necessarily take you with them in this addiction, and it can be hard having friends and family in your circle being addicted to these drugs, and when you're with them, that's what they're doing. It's normalized, right? And I feel like we normalize pleasure way too much in this society. You can break free, you can. And I'm still an addict. Why do I say that? Because I transformed myself. I didn't stay in the box that was set out for me or made for me. I used drugs and all this other stuff that I was addicted to, with my addictive personality, to push it into gym, put it into building a physique for myself, having goals for myself, accomplishments and what I want to do, reading a book. I used my addictive personality and I transformed it into something positive. And you can do that, And I won't say that I regret everything I've done, but it built me into something new. In your room all day getting fucking high, or scrolling TikTok all day, what are you doing with yourself? You're not going anywhere. You've got to be productive. Not everything is in our control, yes, but if you have all this free time, okay, you've got free time, but do something with it. Get a job, fucking get on the content creating, absorb good information, go out there, be yourself, be authentic. Mike Malak, Fifth Vial, he talks about the pain that he put not only himself but his family through. through this trials and tribulations, and a lot of it was physical, but the ones that stung the deepest were all mental. You know, and that's what it is. It's a mental battle. And I like to say, if you can think 2 months, 3 months, I really like to think about today. Just today, how can we do today? Can we get better today? But I want to share with you some advice Mike Malak has at the end of the book, because I just finished this today. It's very raw on my mind. So I decided to make this video today because I knew I wanted to talk about addiction, but I didn't know when. I was planning on doing it this week, but you know, procrastination can get you. I honestly do recommend you read this book if you are dealing with addiction or know someone dealing with addiction, to understand them and to try and help them the best way possible. Free yourself from harmful evils, because the clarity and the motivation you will experience from getting clean and sober will be the bedrock for your real route to success. Sweat, the natural release of feel-good chemicals in your brain that comes from exercises, will help you fight depression or anxiety. Lean on your people, talk to friends, family or therapists, whoever you can. The feeling I get when I leave my therapist's office is second to none. Believe in yourself. It might sound corny, but it's everything. When it's a catalog of quality work, I still question myself at times, but I'm getting better. Whatever you choose to do, believe in your ability to do good. Fuck that, believe in your ability to be the best ever. Fake it till you make it. Don't just try new things, be new things. The next one, I think this is good. Your journey is your own, and it makes you who you are. The person I am today, while unrecognizable in comparison to the person I was once, is rooted in the lessons I've learned through my struggles. I mean, use your addiction, just like I was saying, to better yourself. And honestly, I have my own issues. Enough, I compared Mike Malak to my friend, my best friend. I said, you remind me of Mike Malak. And he found it offensive, right? But I honestly wasn't joking. And you know, we kind of had a laugh with it, but I wasn't joking. What I realized is that I was mirroring. I put that projection onto my friend, but honestly, my friend was just like me, addicted to drugs. You know, we needed a fix. We needed to get high for a good day. It couldn't be a bearable day unless we were high. It was what we needed for the day to go by. And you know, that's what I mean. Surrounding yourself with good people, good circle, people that want the best for me. You need friends that want the best for me, and not friends that will hate on you when you try your best. So I related to Mike a lot, and his words, his honesty, they hit deep for me. They resonated with me. The pain, the struggle, the despair, with the fighting the demon constantly and never seeming to win, and how you easily feel like giving up, and you don't even have a second thought when you know you're gonna do something wrong. But I was trying to say, fight that thought. You know, you're better. You're better than your vices. You're better than your demons. Keep fighting. And the best way to fight addiction, stay busy, be productive, chase your goals. Chase purpose and not what is expedient. I'm in the start way. I got a job, a warehouse job. I did 12-hour shifts, right? Well, I did a 10-hour shift. But the people in there done a 12-hour shift. Why am I bringing that up? You need to be busy. Those guys, they don't have time to do drugs or get fucked up, because they've got to be back in there. They've got to put food on the table. So they don't have time to fuck around. They just do what has to be done. There's a light and there's a dark. I mean, you gotta follow the light when it comes to addiction. You gotta follow your true self, your true instincts. And you gotta be yourself. No matter what situation you're in, no matter the trials and tribulations, because that's life at the end of the day. It's not gonna be easy. It's never meant to be easy. It's meant to be hard. It's meant to be you against you, and it's always going to be you against you. And once you realize that nothing is stopping you except for you, nothing will change. Battling addiction for years wasn't easy, and it wasn't just because I wanted to be high. It was because I wanted to stop what I was truly feeling inside, which was sadness. So if you can dig deep, there's enough self-help books, there's actions, there's good mentors, and the people you can aspire to be like. And that's what I decided to do. I decided to listen to the people that I knew were talking the truth. People that really wanted to give a good message, to tell people the truth, and I followed it, and I broke out of the endless cycle that I had myself in. But I realized I'm still in that cycle, but now it's productive habits. It's habits that get me to the next stage in life, not the habits that are not bringing me anywhere. They're not only letting myself down, but the people around me down. If you quit your addictions and your vices, who would you be? You wouldn't be the same person. You'd be that version of yourself that you see, that you dream about. And you would be with the people that you dream about. You would be in the places that you dream about. So don't let fear of toxic people or trauma get in your way and tie you up, and the only thing to tie it all together be drugs. Because once you believe that and you start getting around cooler people that got their life together, that don't do drugs, that don't necessarily party, but are focused on becoming the best versions of themselves, you too will become the best version of yourself. If you surround yourself with that, if you make the choice and you make the habits, and it all connects to then you being the person you want to be. So I quit. It did take me leaving the town I grew up in to do so, and not having access to drugs, being it not so easy for me to get a new connection and do what I've always been doing, numbing myself. But when I was finally made that choice, made that decision, I progressed more in those 6 months than I had in 2 years. 6 months of being sober, I progressed more than I had in 2 years. Full stop. Life is a roller coaster. It always will be. There will always be the unknown. But instead of fearing the unknown, and when you are in the unknown, embrace it, challenge yourself, transform in the unknown. That's the way it's always been. okay? When you were a kid, that's how it is. You only learned and you only got better and only developed when your life was chaotic, when you were progressing, when you were going through challenges. The drugs only put you in a further descent. It isn't the unknown you're in anymore. It turns into hell, into a living hell. So what you need is to be strong. I don't even think that's the right message, to be honest. What you need is a belief in yourself that you can be better. A belief that in a couple of months you can be a different person. It starts with a choice. Mike Mela, the fifth viol. Me and Mike had similar lives. He transcended what he had, what he went through, and he thrives from it. If you're dealing with addiction and you want a more productive, healthy, more fulfilling, more purpose-driven, more meaningful life, you can do it. You can quit. And you may need help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself and keep fighting yourself. Don't be afraid. The only thing you should fear in this life is God. And if you are dealing with addiction, I am you, and you are me. Take a breath. You'll get through this.